What's up, YouTube? Got another video for y'all today. Today we're going to be talking about 5 common issues with the W211 Mercedes. But first, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more content. Alright, here we go. Let's dive in. Alrighty guys, and girls, don't want to not include anybody. But basically the first major issue with these cars is the Aromatic suspension. So my car actually doesn't have Aromatic. It's a 2009. Most of them do have Aromatic suspension, and it is gonna break, and it is gonna cost you thousands of dollars to fix it at some point. So that's one thing to think about when you're purchasing one of these. Do you want the additional luxury of the Aromatic suspension, or do you want to find one that doesn't have the Aromatic suspension so that you don't have to worry about it? The major issue with the Aromatic suspension, one, the pump goes bad, the lines get fouled and break. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong, and of course just the assembly, shock strut assembly themselves also just go bad. This car has standard springs and struts, so I never have to worry about like waking up in the morning and it's just sitting on the ground, which is something that people do have to worry about with the Aromatic. So that's one thing to consider. Next, we're going to be popping the hood, and we're going to be talking about some common issues under the hood. Alrighty, now that we got the hood open, we can go ahead and talk about a couple issues underneath here. So the first major issue that this car can possibly have, or this affects the V6 and the V8, it does not affect the E63 chassis. So the V6 and the V8 have an issue with the balance shaft all the way down there at the bottom of the engine. And basically what happens is the gearing inside of it gets shredded off. It's most likely caused by lack of maintaining the vehicle properly. They did switch the balance shafts in halfway through 2008. So if you get a 2009 model year, this is not an issue. My car is a 2009. I haven't had this issue with mine. It has close to 100,000 miles already. But it is something to look out for, something to think about. And basically, if that part does fail, the entire engine needs to be disassembled so that you can change that balance shaft. It is internal in the engine, the gear is internal in the engine, and the entire engine has to come out and completely be reassembled to change that one piece. So something to consider. The next issue we are going to talk about is these camshaft position sensors. So you see this guy right here that says 15T244. These guys are magnets that tell your camshaft what position to be in at what RPM, and these are common for failing. These are pretty cheap though. They're 25 bucks each one from FCP Aero, so not a major deal. There's only 4 of them on the engine. It affects the V6 and the V8 as well. And for 100 bucks you can change all 4 yourself, and it takes 30 minutes to change all of them. I changed one of them. I had this one, and actually, which one was it? It was this guy right here, I believe, that failed, and I changed this one right here, and it didn't take long. I'm sorry, it was this one here, behind here, because I had to use a special tool to get these bolts out, this one all the way down. The official guide says you need to pull the oil cooler, but if you get a wrench that has like a ratchet on it, you can hit it without taking the oil cooler out. The oil cooler is also another issue. The seal around here does fail. I did have to replace that seal on this one as well. It's not a major deal. The seal is 5 bucks, so I don't really count that as a major issue. Alright, so far we've covered the Aromatic suspension. That was the first thing. The second thing is the balance shaft. The third thing is the cam position sensors. And the fourth thing, we are going to have to take off this so I can show you. I'll show you right now. Give me just a second. Pull these out. Alright, on to the fourth thing, and the fourth thing is the intake manifold has an issue. So basically there's some flaps that open with these actuators here that are controlled over vacuum, and over time they become brittle. And there's an easy way to check this when you're at a dealership. If you see right here, we have this lever right here, right? If you press this and there's no resistance on it, the flaps are broken. This may not put a check engine light on your dash, but it seriously impedes the performance and the gas mileage of the vehicle. I had this issue myself. This part was $700 from FCP Euro. I changed it myself. It took about 4 hours to do completely. And if you're taking one of these out, all you have to do is take that cover off, press on here. If it snaps back by itself, if you watch here, let me see if I get a good angle. You see when I push it and I let go, it moves back. If it's broken, it's not gonna do that. It's not gonna have that snap back function. So that's another thing to look at before you purchase one of these cars. Alrighty, and for the very last common issue that I know about on these cars, we had to go inside, and basically most of these, I'm having an issue with mine right now. Let's see. Yep, see, it's not working. Let's see. Basically, this visor in the back gets stuck. And it looks like mine is stuck. I fixed it once before and I had it working. But it doesn't look like it's working today. And this is another common issue with the car, is the rear shade does not lift up and down as it's supposed to. Cool. Oh, there it goes. Now it's working. See? Boom. Comes up. One thing that I found is if you use it more and more often, it typically works better. But if you just let it sit there for a long time, it gets stuck in its position. And to activate this is just this button here on the dash. And those are my 5 issues. All right, YouTube, thanks for joining me today in this video. I got one more bonus thing for you E63 users out there and owners and people who are thinking about purchasing E63s. They also have a known issue. Their the head bolts stretch and create a coolant leak, similar to like a blown head gasket. So that's one thing to consider if you're looking at an AMG variant of this vehicle, the E63. As well as like everything on the E63 is more expensive to maintain. Keep that in mind. The brakes are like $2,000 because they're huge brakes. Keep that stuff in mind too. But in general, this is a really good car. It's a great deal on a used product, but do know that you will be putting money into it no matter how good of condition the car is when you purchase it. There are things that are going to come up that you will need to resolve in the long term. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Like this video. If this was helpful to you, please subscribe. Please stay forward, look for more content, and as well check out my old content. I got a lot of videos here of changing those things that I pointed out that are common issues on this car. I've made a lot of videos on repairing those things. But I thank you for watching it, and y'all have a great day. Thanks.